Hey, fellow travelers. Welcome to a new day. This is Zen, and thank you for joining me on our journey coming back from fear. This is episode 12, and we will be focusing on our fear of pain. A married couple went to the hospital to have their baby delivered, and upon their arrival, the doctor said he had invented a new machine that would transfer a portion of the mother's pain to the baby's father. He asked if they were willing to try it out, and they were both very much in favor of it. So the doctor set the pain transfer to 10% for starters, explaining that even 10% was probably more pain the father had ever experienced before. However, as the labor progressed, the husband felt fine and asked the doctor to go ahead and kick it up a notch. The doctor then adjusted the machine to 20% pain transfer. The husband, still feeling fine, the doctor checked the husband's blood pressure and was amazed at how well he was doing at this point. They decided to try for 50%, and the husband continued to feel quite well. Since the pain transfer was obviously helping out the wife considerably, the husband encouraged the doctor to transfer all the pain to him. The wife delivered a healthy baby boy with virtually no pain. She and her husband were ecstatic, and when they got home, the mailman was dead on the porch. Uh-oh, there's going to be a lot of explaining to do in more ways than one. This little joke does bring about our subject matter, though. It speaks of both physical pain and possible emotional pain coming their way. In both of these cases, pain seems to be a flag that something can be looked at within ourselves. Let's talk about physical pain first. What is it that drives our fear of physical pain? Do we fear it will last forever? Do we fear it means that there are other things that could be broken in our body? Are we fearing it will lead to death? Or do we fear that it will make us immobile and dependent on others, and will others reject us because they think we are broken? Pain is our body, physical pain is our body tapping us on our shoulder, letting us know that something is different and it might need to be looked at. I found when I look at pain as just a signal or a warning light from my body, giving me a heads up because it loves me and cares for me, that changed my attitude toward physical pain. Not freaking out about what the pain could mean or what people would think allows me to breathe deeply and remain calm. It seems like we are taught to resist feelings of pain, and we have this belief that we build up inside that we aren't supposed to experience pain. So when pain comes, because we believe that thought that we shouldn't be feeling this way, anxiety comes in and the fear hits. Maybe we think we are less, or that we are not whole, or acceptable, or lovable. Our bodies can help us relieve pain and heal itself. But when we go into fight or flight mode from all that fear, we limit our body's ability to help us. And we might turn to prescription drugs, recreational drugs, alcohol, to take the edge off our physical pain. There are also pure essential oils that can help soothe the tension in our bodies without the side effects of some of the drugs out there. But all these things just mask the pain. And if it continues to flare up, then we might want to have a physician, take a look so we don't have to continue to put our bodies through chronic pain. When we are having pain, we don't have to resist it. remember that we are here to experience all sorts of uncomfortable emotions, and pain is one of them. Pain is natural and common in human bodies. It's like a car. The longer we have it, the more items can wear out on it, and maintenance is required. There is nothing wrong with pain. It just is. We can flow through the pain rather than resisting it. Breathe deeply. Calm ourselves and let that oxygen and unconditional love energy just flood into our bodies. We can take the time to look at the pain and see it for what it is, a flag that something can be looked at inside ourselves. Emotional pain seems to be more common than physical pain among our population. And that makes sense because we are more easily emotionally hurt than physically. Why is that? Looking at the human race through the ages, we live longer these days than we ever have. And our lifestyles, at least in the United States, have become very safe compared to the civilizations of the past. We aren't outdoors as much, so we're not threatened by the weather or beasts or invaders like we were before. We have so many luxuries than the past with, we have air conditioning and central heat, and we've got grocery stores and running water and sewage systems and garbage collection systems and healthcare systems. Just so many luxuries there. Credit has allowed us to get almost everything we want right now instead of waiting for it. We don't have to wait for dinner to be ready like we used to, with fast food and microwaves. We don't have to invest the energy to go to a library and search for information. We can just look up information on the internet, on our phones, right in our hand, right now, and boom, within seconds, we have the data. And if we're feeling bad, we can pop a pill or distract ourselves with so many things available in our society. We kind of have become less and less tolerable of feeling uncomfortable, maybe even a bit spoiled. And along with feeling like we should always get what we want without having to work for it, the list of expectations in our current society is so much longer than ever before. Maybe in the past, the expectation was to survive and live and find shelter and a source of food and not get killed. And that seems kind of easy breezy in our current state. So now we've added, how we should look and the jobs we should have and the home we should live in and the clothes we should wear, who we're supposed to be with, what talents we should have, and how we should be treated. That list goes on and on and on, and it's continually changing. Somehow we are told a story that our lives are supposed to be perfect, and that all these conditions are supposed to be met. And if they aren't, then there is going to be big trouble. And then you are going to be imperfect if those conditions aren't met. And we're going to reject you because obviously if you were worth anything, you would be having a perfect life and the universe wouldn't be having it out for you. Why do people hate me? And why aren't they doing everything that I want? Boo-hoo-hoo. And there it is, the source of so much of our emotional pain. Like physical pain, we might turn to drugs and alcohol and distractions so we don't have to face our emotional pain. But the pain will keep sparking and keep coming back into our face until we are done with the experience. Yep, we have asked for that too. We didn't come here to have perfect lives. We came here to experience all these delicious emotions. When we are tired of experiencing an emotion, then we'll take steps to move on through them. We will resist feeling them until we are done. Then we can take those steps to calm ourselves so that we can look deeply at the emotions and sit them right next to unconditional love. One thing that has helped me calm my feelings is pure essential oils. And there are so many scents that make me feel centered and stable. So if you haven't heard of them before, it's definitely something to consider looking at. Just smelling like frankincense does something to my soul. There's lavender and cedarwood and sandalwood and just so many others. The brand that I use can actually be even applied to the skin and even taken internally. And that helped me even more. And if you want to know more about those, you can contact me at bradazen.com. I'll have a link in the details of this podcast below. They are truly a gift from the earth. Like with any fear, the first step is to calm ourselves so that we can step out of the fight or flight mode. And essential oils, deep breathing, meditating, praying, a nice long walk in nature, sitting on a park bench watching the sunrise or the sunset. There's so many things, and whatever calms you. There's not just one way, and it varies by individual. So we get that calmness, and we get into that place where we can dive into observing our fears, like we have in previous episodes. Ask ourselves, what am I fearing? What am I fearing? And keep asking that question until we get to the root. There are no new emotions that we are feeling that someone else has not already felt on this planet. Our fears are common and they're normal and natural to the human condition. Sometimes knowing that allows us not to feel like such an outsider or like something is wrong with us. You could really sit in front of a crowd and talk about your emotions, having everyone raise their hands as you mention an emotion that they have felt, and there would always be at least one hand raised, and probably more likely most hands would be raised throughout that experience. Because at the core of all fears is the fear of being unlovable, rejectable, or fearing death or fearing a painful death. And this fear shakes our foundation because that is what the fear ego's purpose is here. To guide us through this haunted house, this huge amusement park full of rides that create fear and anxiety and adrenaline rushes, because that is what we came here to experience. We hired this tour guide on our safari trip, and at the beginning, we wanted to take a drug that would make us forget just how powerful and supernatural and eternal we are, so that the experience we have is pure and so much more exciting. We told the guide exactly when we wanted to wake up and begin to remember our awesomeness. And it will not happen before that exact time. Really, if you are listening to this, then evidently this is your morning wake-up call. You wanted this reminder at this exact time so that you can begin a whole new experience here. So wakey, wakey. Our own physical pain and our own emotional pain only happens within ourselves. No one else feels our pain. Yes, they might get the repercussions of our pain with our complaining and crying and throwing things around out of anger and all our other theatrical responses to our pain. But no one else really experiences the piercing feeling of pain that we are experiencing within ourselves, nor is anyone experiencing the physical reactions from our body in response to the pain or the fear of pain. No one else can help us decide how our pain will impact us, because we are the only ones with our own power of choice. Sure, people will give us all sorts of advice and information and suggestions, but rarely do we listen to anyone unless it is something that we want to do. Most likely, we have all experienced someone asking us what we think, and when we tell them our idea, they begin to defend the decision that they had in their head even before they asked us. We usually seek other people's opinions, because we're looking for others to validate our own thoughts and want people to accept us. We fear being rejected for making the wrong choice, so we hope that the other people's idea or opinion is something that we are thinking or something that we would want to do. But is there really a wrong choice? We will chat about that in the next episode. Until then, take some time to get away from everything and everyone. Are you experiencing physical or emotional pain? Take some steps to calm yourself. Deep breathing is something we can all do, even if it's for a moment, sitting in your car before you step into a busy house full of noise and demands, or before you go into your job that stresses you out. Breathe. And look at the pain as a friend rather than an enemy. An enemy would just let the source of your pain continue until it killed you, not letting you know it's happening. But our body and our mind and our heart care enough about us to let us know when something isn't quite healthy. Thank the pain. Embrace the pain. And then move through the pain and see it as simply a signal that something can be looked at inside ourselves. Then in that calm, remember, every moment is about unconditional love or the fear of losing that conditional love that exists outside of ourselves. Remember your power of choice. Remember who you really are.